Disney has Holly Bailey working overtime when it comes to the live-action Little Mermaid promotions. She has gone into a boatload of interviews and each time basically boiled the conversation down to how she has faced criticism over her casting, and she has now gone into an interview saying things like she would be a totally different person if Hollywood had been more diverse and there were black mermaids in movies when she was young. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and to the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting off with this Deadline article, it says the star of Disney's big-budget live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, due in theaters on May 26th, says seeing a black mermaid on screen when she was younger would have changed my whole life. If I would have had a black mermaid, that would have been insane. That would have changed my whole perspective, my whole life, my confidence, my self-worth. You're able to see a person who looks like you when you're young. Some people are just like, oh, it's whatever because they've had it their whole life. It's nothing to them, but it's so important. Now, yes, I will agree with her, right, that Disney has never done the best job when it comes to diversity. They could tell so many different stories, and over the years, they have gotten better. They have something like Moana now. They have Princess and the Frog, and they could have done better, 25 years ago when they were putting these, animated films out. I will agree, but at the same time, she is acting like there have never been black characters in entertainment. There's no, black actors who have played characters that she could have loved when she was younger, which is just like an absurd thing to say, because there are so many talented actors out there who happen to be people of color who are in children's entertainment. I don't know why she is acting like Disney was the end-all be-all, and she is, relatively close to me in age, so I do understand that, yes, when we were younger, we were watching, Disney princess films, but at the same time, there are just so many other pieces of entertainment out there that she could have and probably did watch. Instead, she is narrowing down on just Disney specifically, when Disney is really the only company who was making, movies with mermaids. I mean, there were others, right, but Disney was the primary one. She's pushing so hard on the fact that you have to see yourself in everything in order to relate to it, even as a child, but that's not true. This is fantasy. This character is a mermaid, so even though Ariel's skin color was white, she isn't a real being. She's a fantastical beast from a Danish fairy tale. She's not a human. You're not supposed to empathize with a tail and fins. You're supposed to empathize with her qualities, like her curiosity and caringness and compassion. This idea that to relate to a fantasy character that you have to, see your own skin color is absurd. I've said it before, Ariel didn't need to be changed, just like I would never want them to change the skin color of Tiana or the backstory of Moana, because that's who they are, and there's many things in those stories that we all as human beings can relate to. She told The Guardian of her feelings about this. I mean, yeah, the world we live in today, just being a black woman, you have a certain awareness that comes with life in general, so I wasn't very surprised or shocked. And yes, she did receive a lot of pushback, but most of the pushback she has received are simply criticisms. Criticisms that, yes, she is playing Ariel because people have certain expectations of what Ariel looks like, because we have heard that this is supposed to be, based on the 89 animated, right? They're supposed to be following certain details. I mean, a lot of the scenes, from what we understand, are shot for shot, but then they decide to make these drastic changes to the point where it doesn't even really represent the 89 animated at this point. We don't know exactly what else they're going to change because it's still a week away and they have been hiding a lot from us, but we know that memorable songs are being edited. Ariel is an entirely new character from the race swap to the change in her personality. Prince Eric isn't an important character anymore, and this movie is just a slap in the face to anyone with nostalgia for the original. And anytime you criticize this movie, even if it's Prince Eric's character, or if you criticize, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, it doesn't matter, because it's like they are putting all of that criticism onto Holly Bailey, right? Oh, you're only criticizing this movie because you're a racist. That is what even critics have said at this point. I mean, I've talked about it recently, but Grace Randolph had defended The Little Mermaid, saying if anyone is hating on this movie for any reason, it is a reflection on them and not the film itself. So you can't even criticize this movie. I couldn't criticize the songs because then I'd be labeled a racist, which is absurd. I think Holly Bailey has a very good voice. I think that her voice does fit a lot of these songs. I've listened to the official soundtrack because it's been put online already, and she does sound pretty good, but we do know that her Ariel is a completely different Ariel, and the songs, a lot of the words are different. These are things that upset people, not just the fact that a darker skinned actress is playing this character. But of course, all of the interviews that she's gone into, it's ultimately boiled down to this, that it is about race, that a black mermaid would have changed her life, and that she's received a lot of pushback, and she's had to have this certain awareness, and she wasn't surprised or shocked by the things that people have said about her. And there are always going to be a few bad apples in every single bunch. I say this all the time. I'm sure that she has gotten some genuinely racist comments levied towards her, but the issue is that people in Hollywood and actors and actresses don't look at the criticisms, they call it all harassment. She has done a lot of interviews and has parroted this sentiment many times. I mean, Disney's live-action Little Mermaid star dismisses Backlash against the film as purely racist. As a black person, you just expect it. And this was back in February. So this has kind of been what has been said in interviews and the, PR train that's gone on for this movie. And obviously, if you're excited for it and you think it's going to be great, that's awesome. I hope you watch it. I hope you enjoy it. I personally don't have a lot of excitement behind it at this point, but yes, she is still going into interviews saying the same exact things that Disney is probably telling her to say, because they think it's going to garner attention for this movie, because Disney truly believes that any press is good press, even if it is negative. But now this is a brand new statement that has been made that people are, pretty upset over. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.